Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the People Show, the HVAC Knights.
The People's Show. I like that.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that Jake was talking about over in AHR with the guys. So we're the People Show.
The People's Show.
How's it going, man? How's work and everything?
Work's been slow. Right now,
you were trying to dodge those maintenance calls, no?
I can't dodge them anymore. It's time.
No, I'm the same way because somebody posted in the I don't know if I think it was Instagram that he was like celebrating. He's like when they ask him if he can take a call, like when he's on a maintenance call and he gets like a real emergency call, like he gets super ecstatic and excited.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I know the feeling. I get the same way. Like I've been getting calls here and there, which is fine because I've done my maintenance enough. Like I said, we have right now we have 18 to get through, 18 stores. I've already done more than half of them, or around half. No, I've done more than half. And when I get calls, I get super happy because I'm like on the way to the next maintenance call, and then I get an emergency, and I'm like, all right, let's turn this around. Let's go do the no heat, whatever, no cooling, and I just the maintenance, doing it every day or whatever, like it gets to you.
It's just a little bit monotonous.
Yeah, and it used to drive me crazier before, like because I like when I was younger, I wanted to do like a lot, and then like I had to ease into the maintenance, get used to it. I hate it. I would always rush through it and stuff, and then I had to teach my brother that when he came on, like take your time. This is good money. This is a steady income. Stuff like that. So I'm more used to it now, but it's still like I can't sit still. Like I want to go do a call.
Well, we've recently discussed. I raised my prices on my maintenances, and I'm doing a lot of work while I'm there.
Yeah.
So it needs to be worth my while to be there for an hour and a half or however long I'm going to be there.
Yeah, man. It's because if not, like, what are they paying you for? Just to show up and like rinse it off or something like that? We're there, we're washing it, we're checking everything, cleaning out what we can, and there's a lot of extra steps that we do, during the maintenance, and it's I don't know how long it takes you, half a day, a couple hours.
If it's two systems, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, like well, I guess it's different because like commercial, it depends too, because like some have the split system, some have just an RTU, and it's just time consuming getting all the screws out, the panels off, that takes time, and then going through it and doing all that. So we have accounts like right now, the one that we're doing, it's an average of like 2 RTUs per location, and that'll take us half a day to do 2 of them, right? But I'm also including like the driving and stuff like that. Like it's gonna take me like you said, like an hour and a half on each one or something. Well, for me, it's each one.
You do a lot of driving.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if I'm doing like today, I did one in the morning and I didn't get back till like 1 or 2 because the drive over there was like over an hour. Then we finally set up. You get all your stuff, on the roof, the water hoses, the tools, all the cleaning supplies, and then you start taking apart everything, turning it off, checking belts, cleaning out the system, washing the coils, all that stuff, and then do the next one, pack up, get down, and then drive another hour and a half, either to get home or to get out of there. Yeah. So that takes us half a day for some of these locations, which they're pretty. This one sets it up on their own. There's an app that they use, ZenPut. It's where they like manage all the stuff, like for the vendors, for the managers. Like they have their all to-do list kind of stuff in there. So when it pops up on the app, I get an alert and then I have to go and do it. So like they give us like 2 to 3 months, I forgot what it was, to do 18 stores. So it's not horrible, right? I can space them out, and do that. But Yeah, I gotta like manage my time and my driving and all that because like I gotta see which one's gonna hit in one route, right? What day can I do this one? What day can I do that one? Because we have some that are 2 hours one way, 2 hours another way, and then it's all like that's all I'm doing all day is like trying to manage what time am I gonna get there? What time am I gonna finish? How can I make it to the next one? Which one can I do this? Can I squeeze in the call here? Like,
Well, when you find something wrong, and we do,
oh yeah, that
do
too.
you have to call in another work order, or can you fix it on the spot?
We we used to need approval, but I'm just doing them now. And that's that's a whole other thing too because like I've been doing maintenance right now and every other call or every other maintenance has something wrong with it. So we had one that had a burnt up contact or not a burnt up but contact welded shut, iced up and everything. So I had to take care of it. I wasn't gonna like leave it like that. And then we had another one like the condenser fan motor gave out, stuff like that we find. And I guess stuff that they don't know that it happened because it's on the rooftop. So I do those repairs now, and I just open up another invoice for it, and then we charge like the extra time and the part for it and everything.
Mm.
And that's why
Lately,
it's always important to have good stock on your van because I don't have to run out to get anything.
yeah, you got to know what you need.
Yeah, man, because those motors, those contactors, thermostats, all that stuff ends up getting we end up having to call for that on the maintenance. Like anything can come up. Mike over here. Glad I don't do maintenance anymore, just service. I wish I could just do service. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it would. I got to do maintenances myself. I don't do as many as some other companies, but
Yeah.
I have a month where I might have two a day.
It's yeah, like we don't sell them. Like I do try to tell them. Like we have another one that has probably more than 20 stores. I don't count them, but I told them I was like, you might want to look into a maintenance setup, like like our other customer, because a lot of theirs are going down now because it's overheating. Like a compressor will give out, a motor will give out, and I'm like, and then I go there and like what I end up billing for is like whatever gave out, and then a maintenance on it, like a cleaning, because the coils are super plugged up because we have a lot of construction going on right now. So don't like it, but it's good money.
Oh, I got another one of my micron gauges with oil on the sensor again. I tell you what, if I could avoid doing that altogether, that would be great.
So like, which one were you using?
I was using the Appion in
Oh
one of my
yeah.
recent repairs. One of my recent repairs, I was having trouble pulling the vacuum, and I was able to trace it down to the micron gauge.
Oh really?
Yeah, I thought I was having
So
trouble pulling the vacuum, and I wasn't at all.
so I had Tony from Field Piece on my podcast the other week, and we were talking about that. And I was like, yeah, some people like I don't have a way to valve off my micron gauge. I'm assuming you don't either, right? You just put it on the core remover tool.
I use a core removal tool to valve it off, but this particular time I forgot to valve it off. I
Okay.
got pressure on it and it messed it up.
So then you put like two of them together on the
No,
core.
if it's a split system or a package unit, I pull on one side and I have the micron gauge on the other.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like I can't wait to try out the new Field Piece one because like the only other way to prevent that is like you valve it off, right? You put your own valve or ball valve or whatever you can. Some people put two core removal tools together and then
Together.
put the micron gauge, right? That's the only way you can do it. But Field Piece, I don't know if you've seen it. They have one coming out that has two valves on the core removal tool, and I can't wait to try that out.
Yeah, I would like to have that.
I was like, dude, because I'm guilty. I sacrifice my micron gauge all the time. Like,
You got to
I'm
keep
lucky.
cleaning it over and over.
Yeah, I'm lucky that it hasn't caused any big issues. But like, yeah, you got to maintain it, clean it, because like
Yeah,
I always
but
forget to put a valve on it.
that field piece micron gauge I had, it got to the point where it never would go back to normal.
Oh yeah, so then you had to switch over. Is that when you switched over to the Appion?
Yeah, I was just, and the Appion has it's much easier to clean. There's a bigger opening, and it has a cloth in the way to help prevent spray, to help eliminate that. I mean, it's not perfect, but it helps.
Yeah, so I was like, that's cool that they have that coming out, the 2 valves, and then you get the Cycloss. I was like, I don't know why we don't have that already, but it's a cool
Yeah.
new tool that I'm about to buy. But we love buying tools.
Well, you got a micron gauge in those S-mans.
Yeah,
Well,
we talked about
how do
that
they
too.
keep them from not getting?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that. I should have asked them that. Because
I mean, can't we do the
that's
same thing with a regular micron gauge?
true. Because yeah, we talked about that, but he's like, I don't recommend anybody using, their gauges, but I didn't think about that. It's built in and there's refrigerant in it all the time.
I know it.
I have to bring that up to him. I saw Brian in here. What's up, Brian? He was talking about, I think he was talking about JB. I don't know if you've seen the new JB probes and stuff that they have coming out, or I don't know if they're out yet. No. Where is
I have not.
Oh yeah, Brian. JB is supposed to be sending him those wireless probe setups, so maybe Brian will get to test them out. The probes, and I talked to Tony about this on the podcast. I was like, if you guys would just put a little screen, right, that gives us a number reading, pressure reading, I was like, that'd be fantastic. Just so I don't have to pull out my phone just to see if it has charge or something like that, or do a quick check, right? You want to make sure that it's actually running or pumping. And he's like, well, would you want to pay more for that, or like we were talking about it for a while, and I'm like, I would, right? Because my phone overheats all the time. That's just me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, if I leave it out sitting in the sun, it will.
Yeah, so I told him, I was like, you can put a little screen on there, next generation of field piece probes. And funny enough, JB has temperature clamps, pressure probes. I just saw them, and they have the displays on them, like these little mini displays, and it has a digital reading on it.
How about that?
And I was like, damn, now I want those.
I called myself contacting JB to see if we could work together. And I was thinking about one of their vacuum pumps, but I haven't heard much back from them.
Did you talk to them for a bit or anything?
Messaging on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, just keep up with them, because I've heard that they're trying to get into the influencer stuff, So I guess Brian got in himself. I don't know. I have to ask Brian about that.
I tell you what, I've been going after some big fish.
Hey man, we're the ones that test them out and show them off and recommend them to everybody. So, I mean, it's only right. Yeah, he said that's the one they're sending him, and it also has another port that I think you can, instead of using a T to charge refrigerant through, it has another port built into the probe.
How about that? That's nice.
And I think there's another one that does that, but I don't remember who it was. Like if it's Yellow Jacket. No, I don't think it's Yellow Jacket. I don't know who it was, but I was like, cool. You got the display, you got the extra port, so it's like an all-in-one. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna do. Oh yeah, Mike was like, they're hard to use the field piece when the phone has no internet and it wants to log in. It'll stay spinning there for a long time.
You can't use it.
You can't? I thought it would like go away after a while. Or does it lock you out?
I'm not sure you can. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Because it's field piece, and I realize that because I have horrible service in some areas, right? And it'll stay on the field piece screen forever. And then the other one is measure quick, because it always wants to check for like an update, and I'm like I don't need that. I just want to I just want to see my pressures.
Yeah.
That's why I told him. I was like, dude, just put that display on it.
I I got to where I didn't like Measure Quick at all.
You, people always tell me to use it, and I don't like it either.
I I feel like it's trying to do too much.
Yeah, so it's good for people that test like everything. Like they want a whole breakdown. They're testing, with their psychrom. They hook up every probe imaginable, right? Because then it'll give you a nice readout and tell you how your system's performing and all that stuff. But like a majority of the time, I just need pressures and maybe like a subcool or something like that, and that's about it.
Well, I feel like Measure Quick is trying to diagnose, and I
Yeah,
would rather just give me the raw data and let me diagnose.
yeah. Because the other thing is, somebody said that they went down a rabbit hole because they saw all these red flags, and it was trying to tell him like what was wrong with it, and it was like something completely different. You know?
There's no substitute for there's no
No,
substitute for using your own judgment.
you just you need the numbers, and then you go through and do your troubleshooting. Yeah, so if anybody hasn't noticed, Jake didn't make it today. I don't know if he's gonna pop in or not. I'm gonna leave a link in the chat if anybody wants to come and fill in for Jake. I don't know if you noticed, I changed the title to Jake's replacement on the chat on the video.
I see it.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to join in, it's there in the group in the chat. That's why I liked the testo probes. I wasn't a big fan of them.
You know
they
what
work.
I didn't like about the testo? The battery covers kept coming off, and those pipe clamps, they got that exposed wire.
Yeah.
That's going to wear out eventually.
Yeah, everybody has their brand, but I tried both, and I just preferred the field piece. I think I sold my testo ones.
That's exactly
But
what I did.
yeah, but like the clamps, I thought they were also like an odd shape. They're a little bit longer and stuff, and then the wire exposed. And then I liked that the field piece probes were like thinner. I don't know. I liked a lot more about the field piece, and then I also use the field piece like scale, the gauges, the micron gauge, and I just need one app. I don't have to jump around different apps or anything.
Yep. Do you use any of the other stuff that Fieldpiece has on their paid app platform, like geotagging equipment and
No, and that's what Measure Quick does too. I think that does all that. Like, you can put where this unit, like whatever unit you're working on, you can like tag it to like what location it's at and all the information. That's another thing. Like with Measure Quick too, is like you get all that. Like if you have a big company and you guys are doing, I guess, these big accounts or like this big area, and you want to like tag all that and keep all that information so that the next tech opens it up and sees what I guess whatever was done to it before, stuff like that. That's cool. But like, I don't know. I'm super basic. I just want like a simple readout for my tools.
yep, me too.
Looks like Jake's replacement just hopped in. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up, guys?
You got to
Hey,
bring
man.
the energy up, like Jake.
Yo, what's up, guys? What's
How's
up,
work, bro?
fellas? Oh,
How's work?
pretty good, man. It's slow. God, is it slow right now?
Man,
Yeah, it was for me
everybody's
too.
slow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay positive about it. It's slow. Got more time with the family, but yeah, these
Yeah.
checks.
Is it like you're getting less overtime or hours or stuff?
Yeah, I'll end up. Usually, I average, I don't know, 55 hours on average. 55, and then in the heat of summer, sometimes 70, 75 hours. But right now, about 45, 48 hours. I mean, I can't complain. I'm still getting OT. Like
Oh,
whatever
okay.
time I work tomorrow is going to be straight OT. But I don't know.
But
I like to stay.
you're used to more.
Yeah. I like to stay busy, but yeah, I'm the marketing director from JB reached out to me today, and supposed to send me that whole kit, the new where they climate
Dude,
control or
yeah,
whatever.
they look
Yeah,
awesome. Somebody posted them on, I don't know if it was Pat Finley or somebody, and I was like, what is that? And I looked into it and I'm like, oh shit. Like I really like those, what they're doing with those.
Is this the first time they put out probes like this?
I think wireless probes. They've
Yeah.
had a wireless micron gauge, and then they've had the wireless temp clamps to go with like a digital manifold setup. But I think this is their first foray into the whole true wireless setup.
The probes, yeah. They had the gauges, the nice fancy
Yeah.
gauges. We got a fourth. What's up, Steve?
Steve
Hey, what up?
is Bob
What's happening?
Ross.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm just
What
hanging
you up
out,
to?
man. Just enjoying the view.
How's work for you, man?
We've been not too bad. It's been like 70s and low humidity, so it's been
Taking it
Everybody's
beautiful
got their
lately.
windows open in temperatures like these.
Oh yeah, no, I got my back door open. That's why I'm just kind of hanging outside.
No, well, I've been doing maintenance. I keep talking about it, but it's because that's all we've been doing lately.
Yeah,
I got
no,
to even
same.
test out. Oh, sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead.
I had to test out the Subco umbrella today. Wasn't hot
Which
enough like to use it as far as to keep you cool, but man, it was nice because I was up on top of a rooftop, white TPM roof,
oh yeah,
sunny, yeah, blinding. So I was able
Did
to
you have
put
a
that in the direct side light of or direct direction of the sun. Made it so nice being able to see that circuit board and stuff without the glare being in my eyes.
do you have the black one?
Yeah,
I still
okay.
got the old blue one.
Yeah, I was gonna
I do
ask you
too.
which one you got. I got the blue one.
yeah, it's the black one, and I've got the extension for it. I haven't tested it. It was a little windy today. I mean, it held up, but I'm kind of
It's too
interested.
windy over here right now for that. It knocked my ladder over the other day.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that,
Man. Got a child.
Oh, let me just say real quick. Everybody was like, "Don't you have that lockjaw ladder grip or that thing that clips in?" I'm just stupid. I forgot how it worked. There is a spring tension to make the claw go in and out. I had it all the way out for some reason, and that's what knocked it over. So after that I looked at it. I'm like, oh shit! I had to like readjust it.
yeah.
Nothing worse than losing a ladder.
I had to jump off the roof.
Only place when you ain't got no way down.
You couldn't call the store and have somebody come around.
There was a kid in there. One kid in the whole restaurant there. It's a pizza place. I was like, I'm not gonna ask this kid to hoist it because my ladder was fully extended too. Like he would have to pull it, put it back
It's
down.
not easy getting the ladder up off the ground like that.
Nah.
No, especially like I said, if it's extended and stuff, I was like, no, I'm not gonna have him do that. Then he's gonna get hurt or something. No, I was like, I'll figure out how to
I've
get down.
waited for guys to come get me off.
Yeah, last time this happened to me twice now. Last time I think I was just lazy and I didn't do anything because I was gonna go up real quick or something. I don't know what happened, but last time I got lucky that my dad was close by and he went and helped me out. But this time I was like almost an hour away from the city. And I was like, I don't know if I call somebody, it's gonna be a couple hours. And luckily though, there was a ladder attached to the roof. I mean to the building, but it's the one that only goes like halfway down or so. So I climbed down, it hung off of it, and then jumped off. So
I got a funny story about that.
let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah, you know about it because I've already told you, Adrian. Last time I was on call, I was up at a plaza working on some units, and I don't know, it's 10, 15 mile an hour winds, nothing I was really concerned about. And to get up on this roof, I had to have my ladder about 3/4 of the way extended up, and there was no gutters or anything like that to where I could put my ladder locks on. So I just did the best I could and used a bungee cord. Anyways, I'm squatted down looking at the heating section of this 10-ton York, and I hear crash. And I'm like, no. And I look back, ladder's completely gone. So I walk over to the edge of the roof. It's laying flat, and luckily the way it fell, it didn't, warp it or anything. Didn't hit my van. I don't know how it kept from hitting the van. Anyways, I got done doing the service call, and I had to go clear to the end of the plaza. There's a grocery store there, and I remember seeing their split system for the refrigeration back there. So I had to hop down an 8-foot wall, go down there, crawl out on top of the lean-to that was over top of their condensing unit. I had to army crawl on that lean-to because I didn't know how much it would hold, and then hop down onto the condensing unit. Well, it was a grocery store, of course, and so I got the grocery store's phone number, and I got a hold of the manager, and I was like, hey, I know this is going to sound like a weird request, but do you guys have a tall ladder in the store? And he's like, yeah, why? And I told him what I just said, and he's like, yeah, I'll send somebody down there. So yeah, they sent an 8-foot ladder, and I got down off of the unit. But I called my boss and told him, I was like, before this, I got down off the roof. I said, listen, I may have to call 911. I said, because I'm not Spider-Man, and I never wanted to be a fireman, and I'm not trying to slide down any gas line to get to the ground.
I almost got left on a roof today. I was doing a small maintenance on a rooftop this afternoon, and there was some roofers there. I don't think any of them spoke English, and so I saw them, and I kind of waved to them. They sat in their trucks for like hours. These guys weren't doing nothing, but they saw me, and I was using their ladder because it was already set up. And I was getting towards the end, and I heard the ladder from where I was, and I looked, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I'm screaming, "Hey, hey!" I'm running over there, like waving my arms, and I think they knew what the hell I was doing. But I got them stopped, luckily, and got off the roof, and then set up my ladder. I'm like, "Come on, guys!" I was yelling at them on the way down. I'm like, "Come on, guys, really? Like, y'all seen me?"
Yeah.
Like, I ain't mad at you. If you gotta go home, like, just tell me.
Yeah, I'm always worried about that because I had one that's like that because it's like I work in a lot of strip malls, so like there's these ladders that are on the back, but you need your own ladder to get up there and use it. And sometimes there's someone else working there, and I'm always like, please don't. If I either set mine up next to theirs or do something because I don't want them to take off, and then like I'm like, oh shit, where's the ladder? But I know what you mean because I've been there. Or they'll use mine, and I go and tell them like, hey, I'm gonna take off now. If you want to get down, before I take my ladder.
That's courteous. I think I would do the same thing. That's what I said. I got no problem with y'all got to leave, but like at least come say, hey man. I mean, you can like wave your hands at me and say, get point off the roof or something. We can communicate well enough that I'll get off the roof.
They're like, no, this guy's gonna stay on the roof. No, man, like, and it's been real windy here, so I've got to watch out with that because I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience to say the least. I found out I was pretty agile for a fat guy.
Hey man, it'd be bad if they took your ladder as well as theirs.
I've had some crackheads at the bottom of ladders.
Oh yeah,
I come down that ladder quick. I come down that ladder quick and mean though. They usually run away.
yeah. You got to be careful. I always like recently I was on a roof and I just every now and then I go and like peek, make sure nothing's going on with my van or the ladder or anything.
You got to go look. You might be up there a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to check every once in a while. It depends on what area I'm in. I mean, you know where you're at, where you got to go check your ladder, your truck.
You know something? I turned down a commercial job a couple months ago because I didn't feel comfortable parking around behind the building, and it was in one of those neighborhoods.
Yeah, we had some years ago. We had some like a fast food joint, and we did some of their refrigeration and air conditioning and stuff, and they had some rough areas in downtown Louisville. And it was like you get call after hours, and it's like, I know I ain't supposed to be packing, but if you sending me here, I'm gonna be packing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You gotta watch
Yeah, pipe wrench will only reach out so far.
I keep my long 5/16 in my driver's side door. The little 2-footer I use on the trains, that stays in my driver's side door.
I've got it's a 4-foot pry bar, real old. I think it's a Snap-on actually. That thing's super heavy. And I keep it right. Like I got a milk crate in between my seats that I keep stuff in, and that pry bar fits perfectly right down into that milk crate. That way, if somebody comes up to the door, I can keep their attention. Just reach over to the side and grab that. And
Nice.
I don't pack anything, but I keep a duck knife in my bag.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's all I use.
Hey, that'll work.
If I don't feel comfortable somewhere, I just leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell them I'll be back at
some of the
10 o'clock in the
downtown
morning
areas
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the time, you just got to be vigilant. If you keep your eyes open and your head up, nobody really mess with you. But you don't want to be walking around looking at your phone or whatever. You just got to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't nobody really want to fight that bad.
Yeah, with anything or anywhere, because I always tell people just be aware. Like I tell my kids and everybody, like,
yeah,
because be aware. You're walking in a parking lot, in the store, whatever. Like I'm always like looking around.
I was about 2 hours north of here. It's a pretty big town. I don't know if you could technically say it's a suburb of Pittsburgh, but it's in the northern panhandle of West Virginia. Anyways, I'm sitting in the parking lot, just finished up a call. I'm on my iPad doing my work order. And this dude comes up and knocks on the window, and I roll the window down, and I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, hey, man, do you want to buy some crack? And I'm like, what? I was like, get out of here. Oh, man, yeah, that's what I told him. I'm not going to say exactly what I said, but yeah, I was like, the balls on this guy.
Those guys are easy to get off. You got to just get in their face real quick and they'll back off quick. I don't even, in certain places, I won't sit in my van. I'll do my paperwork in the back of my van with my head up to where I can see everything that's going on. And, just to keep from that from happening.
Oh,
yeah, crazy stuff, man.
It's big city service, man.
I know. Oh, go ahead.
Our little town doesn't have, but the city here doesn't have, but about 85,000 people. And the whole surrounding area may have 250, but it still has its bad neighborhoods. It's got some bad places.
Well, are you in South Carolina, right?
No, Georgia.
North Georgia. Oh, I don't know why I was thinking South Carolina. Been down to Georgia.
But you be doing those calls with all those dogs in your videos.
There's always a dog. There's always a dog somewhere. If it's not a dog, it's a chicken.
Yeah, today I went to my maintenance like I said, it was like an hour or so out, and the group of dogs just showed up. I was like, and I was trying to walk slowly, not agitate them. They were like a group of like pit bulls, and I don't know what the other one was. And I was like, please don't come after me. That was my whole thing. They were circling that strip mall there, and because there's a neighborhood behind it, so they must have got out or something.
You know something?
I'm a
I went
dog
to
lover. I
somebody's
won't
house.
get no work done.
That
I
Kurt
went-
too.
I went to a call one time and they had a pit bull chained in the front yard. And as I'm walking to the front door, he's lunging at his chain trying to get at me. He's big. And when I walked out to get back in my van, I could tell he was about to get off his chain. So I pulled my pocket knife out of my pocket and very slowly walked up to my van. I wouldn't turn my back to him, and he got off the chain before I could get to my van. There was a guy walking down the street with his baby in a stroller. He sat his baby on top of a car and picked up the stroller like a baseball bat. And I just undid my knife and held it where the dog could see it. And that dog came right up to me and would bark and bark, but never lunged at me. It was kind of scary there for a little bit.
That's how I felt today. I didn't turn my back to them. I was like, I put my tools up and I was trying to, I had to go back for my ladder or the water hose or something. I needed one more thing to collect off the side of the building, and they were just hanging out there. I'm like, shit. So I just waited, they roamed off, and then I got my stuff and got out of there.
I was in the middle of BFE, West Virginia, and this is last week, and one of those days it was like 60 degrees, so I had the side door open, and I had my feet propped up, in between the door and the pillar, typing up. And all of a sudden, man, this like 60, 70-pound dog just hops up in the van. He hops up in the van, hops up over me, and gets over in the passenger seat and just looking at me like, where are we going?
That's right,
I'm like,
man. That's right.
yeah.
You got a new
I was like,
helper.
yeah, I was like, I mean, he's super friendly. He sat there. I went and I had some beef jerky in my lunchbox, so I just grabbed it and gave it to him and stuff. And he just sat there while I did my paperwork, and I was like, man, come on, you gotta go. He's like, oh, come on. It's like, man, I'd take you home if I didn't already have one.
My dog, when I get home, he'll jump in my van and won't get out. He wants to go to work with me.
Have you ever taken him?
I've taken him to the shop and
Okay. Oh
we
yeah.
run around there, but not actually going on calls.
Hey,
Is
that
Riley
could
a
be helpful, man,
Weimaraner?
if you trained them right.
Yeah, Riley's a Weimaraner.
Okay, that's what I thought. They're
Take him
super
take 'em
smart
with you.
dogs.
Yeah, take him with you and train him, and he'll protect you.
Protect
I'd
you,
have
bring
to-
he grab you some tools. I mean, you blow that video up, man.
Fetch a screwdriver, fetch this.
Hey, I have a
Tell 'em
buddy
not
that I have a buddy that has a kegmeister in his garage, and then he's got a separate drawer where he stores his beer at, and he's got a 7-year-old golden retriever. He's actually trained that dog will go and grab a beer out of the fridge for him. He keeps a towel on the handle, and the dog, he'll say, go get me a beer, Jock. And he'll run over and grab all of that towel with his teeth, open up the door, grab a beer out, bring it to him. I was like, I need one of
that's
those
pretty
at the
cool.
house.
I mean, I need to get to training. I got 3 of them. You'd think one of them would bring me a beer.
Well, at the very least, Steve, throw it away for you.
No kidding.
Something.
Yeah.
Do anything. They're all just laying around.
Heck, I can't even get my 16-year-old to grab me a bottle of water.
Yeah, I got 2 kids here, and they don't want to do anything either. So,
Well,
you know,
besides
it
play
is-
Xbox.
It
Your
is,
dogs remind me of I drove up in a customer's yard and he's got these 2 dogs sitting out there a little ways from the driveway. When I drove up, they didn't even get up. They just looked at me and put their heads back down.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil said he won't give you any protection. We've seen Riley on the couch, referring to the
I've seen him
Expo-
roaming around your tool bag video.
Yeah, come here, boy.
or,
Come here.
or when he exposes himself on the show.
There he is,
Obligatory
right
nut
here.
shot.
It might get you rating.
Ooh, they were calling for you, Riley.
What are you doing, Riley?
He's looking at Mama
Riley.
right now.
Yeah, he wants to go back with Mom over there.
Yep, there he goes.
Sorry, Jason. He said he was gonna have to put his dog down tomorrow. I feel bad.
Oh,
for
that
him.
sounds
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, JJ.
I told him. I told him on Instagram, man. That sucks, man. It's hard.
You know, I've
How
had
old?
to do it
We went
twice,
through
and
that
it's rough.
couple years ago.
Yeah. How old was the dog? I don't know if I've ever asked him that.
I think in the post, I think it was 12. I mean, he can correct me
Okay.
in the chat, but we had
Yeah,
ours
I don't know if
was
he's still here.
ours was 14 2 years ago when we had to let her go. It's
Yeah,
tough.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Because I had a dog, when I was in high school and stuff, and it sucks when you got to let him go. Which right now we have one that he's not that old yet. He's like 5 or 6. And that's my kid's dog, like my son's. So like, when that day comes, it's going to suck.
Yeah. No, it's hard. I mean, we don't have kids, but we got 3 other dogs, and it was hard on them. I mean, you could see their personalities change, and I mean, they were grieving like everybody else.
Yo.
Brian,
This is my boy. This is my Remy, 7-year-old. Say hi, Remy.
There you go.
hey, Remy. Can you hear me, Remy?
He wants to get down. He loves you if you got food. He's never met a stranger. There, I'll let you down. But he's a good dog. You don't hardly hear him. The only 2 issues I've ever had with him is you got to watch if there's a blanket laying around somewhere. You got to check to make sure he's not under the blanket because he likes to get under the blanket. And when somebody comes to the house, he's not barking to tear him up or anything like that. Or he's like, oh, this is a new person. This new person. You got to hold him, or he'll want to lick and jump all over him. But other than that, he's a good dog.
Nice.
You
We
maybe
got a little
something
like
about
Adrian
Riley.
or something. He likes to burrow under stuff.
Something about Riley, guys. He almost never barks.
Really?
Almost never barks. Even when like the trash man comes or neighbors show up or something, they just go out to the fence and look at him and make him think that he's mean as hell, and he just wants them to pet him.
Yeah,
I think that's.
But he don't bark.
Oh yeah, mine barks for everything, but he just wants to and then he scares off people because he looks like a German Shepherd. He's like a mix of a German Shepherd, Retriever, and I don't know what else. And he barks and barks and barks, and then he goes all crazy. But like, if I let him go, he just wants to play with whoever it is that he's barking at. I'm like, you're scaring them off, like chill out. But I did have a Retriever that was like that was not worth a damn as a guard dog because he just wanted to go up and he would never bark. He just wanted to be pet and like be friends with everybody.
We got a Retriever mix kind of the same way.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Brian?
Just talking about dogs barking and stuff. That's thinking with Remy. So he's not barking to be mean. He's just like singing the song of his people. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like I want to hear myself.
Yeah, like the one we have right now. Like he's not mean whatsoever, but everybody's scared of him because of the bark he has. Rudy says that his understands. Oh, he has a pit. Understands sign language.
Well, I hadn't taught my dog much, but when I tell him to sit, I do like this. Tell him sit. So he understands what that means.
I do I do this to him to shut the hell up. And he understands.
I
Let me
do.
see.
With Remy, I'll just hold my hand up like that right there, and he'll sit down every single time.
Yeah, that's the only like sign that I've taught mine. It's like shut up or sit down.
Yeah.
Whichever they want to do. Just
Do one.
What's this fella's name that does just work?
Rudy?
Is it Rudy?
Rudolfo?
Rodolfo, I think, isn't it? Isn't that his first name?
And he's posting stuff on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
He's always live. I always catch him
Yeah,
live.
that too. Well,
He showed up a couple of times in my lives.
Yeah, he's always on there. He has a daughter that's interested in HVAC that he's taught a little bit to.
Bring her in.
Yeah, she's
We
part
need
of the there's a
help.
group, the women's pioneer unity group. She's a part of it, and it's a bunch of tradeswomen supporting each other, helping each other out. It's like electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, and everything. And she's in that too.
She's better at brazing aluminum than I am.
I suck at that too. Yeah.
Well, I can get it hot enough and stuff, but I just, what's that, Steve?
I haven't done too much aluminum. I tried once, and I'm about 50 on two attempts.
Same.
Where it's
I've
at.
done like 2 or 3.
I haven't had to
it.
do it yet.
Don't
I
want
get it to run. I get it to run, and I get it hot enough, but then it's just like it's like pulling the heat away enough to where the braze will harden up. You know what I mean? When you're filling up a hole or something like that, it reacts. It seems like it reacts faster to heat than what the brazing rod does. Like if you've got a hole or something, you know, you could start a little bit above the hole and get it to run. Which I maybe it's just the way I'm doing it. I can do it with brazing rod just fine, but aluminum, I get it to run and then it just runs right past the hole. It's like, nope, I'm not going there, and keeps on rolling.
It's gotta be very clean as you can get it. I mean, just like with copper, the cleaner the better. If it's on like the edge of like the micro channel, I've been good at like getting the edges, but I had one that had like pinholes back in the center of, you know, the flat, and like the coil was eating up I mean, it's a heat exchanger, so it was eating up all my heat, and I couldn't get enough heat in the center of it to get it to take.
Now, I've never had one in the middle. I've actually had a bunch of the discharge lines cracking because they're all aluminum and then it goes to copper. So that's what I've seen. Or on the ends. Now, what do you guys use as far as your aluminum repair?
I have an aluminum repair kit that I bought.
By
Is
who?
it the solder weld one?
Solder weld, yes.
Yeah.
You, Brian?
So I've got that kit. I use that.
Same
and
thing.
I use the it's a Harris product. It's same kind of idea. It's just an aluminum rod. I've tried both.
I have
The solder weld is good. It blows at a lower temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I just need practice with it because I had to do it on the spot a couple of times, and one time it took, but like we just needed to get it working until we got the coil because that coil was already shot too. But it worked, but then like it would start leaking like by the time we went back. Like I don't know but that was a crack. I was trying to repair a crack down the line.
A lot of the cases. Go ahead.
Oh, but I kind of like the Lucas one because it's the flux is already in it, and it's a what do you call it? Like it's in the rod itself. You don't need the extra flux.
I know.
Flux
I know what you're
core.
talking about.
Yeah.
You got to be careful when you're done with those rods too, because if you turn them upside down, I think you can lose that flux out of there.
Oh, really?
At least that's what I've heard. And I can't even tell you where I heard that. I might just
Well,
be
like,
making stuff up, but
well, like I said, like I don't do it enough either. Like I've only done it a couple times, so like I don't even know. I don't have enough practice or like enough
yeah,
infield
it takes
use
practice.
of it.
It's just
Yeah.
like anything else.
Well, in the comments here, Nasty saying, has anybody used RLS on aluminum?
Oh, good thing Jake's not here.
I,
I have not.
I have.
Oh, you have? I've heard
used-
you can.
I've done aluminum to copper on an aluminum coil where I cut it
Okay.
and pressed it together.
And no issue.
No issue.
Nice.
Somebody else asked me about
mean,
that, and I saw somebody do it. Somebody else, like on Instagram or something, and I was like, okay, cool.
I mean,
As long
great
as it's
idea. I
the
mean, the
exact
RLS.
size it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you clean the pipe, and I mean, it's just like anything else. If you do it right, how it's meant to be done, it holds well. It does its job.
It's because it's well, either way, the RLS one is a soft copper and it's a complete press. That's why I preferred it over the other one, Parkish Portland. But it's I don't know. It like I don't think they advertise it, but people have done it and it works. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It does work.
Oh yeah,
I
I'm
need to
gonna
get
look into
better
that,
at
'cause
aluminum.
yeah, and like you said, Adrian, it's got to be tough on a discharge line. I mean, even with your brazen copper, as you all probably know, I mean, if you got a crack in a discharge line, I found it better just to go ahead and replace the 90 fitting in it, the entire line, because if you just try to braze over it, it'll end up cracking somewhere else.
Yeah, the reason we changed the coil out, it was like a Rheem or Rude unit RTU, and it was just a aluminum condenser coil, but it had bowed in a lot. I don't know if someone ran into it or it just was like that, but it was flexing in to where I was like, we should probably. I don't want to bend it out, so we replaced it, and it was already kind of rough because we get a lot of every now and then we get a lot of hail damage and stuff like that. This one didn't have any guard or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
opted
old
for a new
trains used to have
coil.
problems with the discharge headers would leak on the old bigger trains, and it was because the discharge lines would jar every time the compressor would start. That it jars that discharge line and it moved, and it would cause leaks in the coil. There's actually like a weight kit repair, and you strap them together and you weight them down, and it's supposed to help with that.
I always find it crazy how what's Nasty say.
He's like, he's like, you can. I was just being a smartass.
Oh,
No, I've heard of it, and Curtis has done it.
I always find it interesting, like fluid dynamics. Like I listen to Brett and Kevin's podcast every Monday. It's like my Monday listen. And I remember, I think it was Kevin was talking about the straight line coming out of the discharge going into a hard 90, and that there is actually a certain length that those have to be to keep the turbidity inside in the line itself from causing a lot of vibration and stuff. Always that kind of thing. And like, if I want to make something work, it's like, how is this going to affect it on down the line? You're changing the flow, because I think you said they require like 8 inches of straight section coming out of the discharge on the compressor before you can go into a hard 90, because anything more or less than that is just going to cause all kinds of vibration and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a geek about that sort of thing, but I always find that interesting.
I mean, it makes sense.
That's
the high pressure side. I mean, and there's vibration in everything else. I mean, you've seen them. They come right straight off those scroll compressors, 90 straight somewhere over or up.
You were talking about those train compressors. I had a rooftop train compressor that kept blowing out. What do you call the fittings that screw on the compressors?
Rotolock.
Rotolocks. Just past the rotolock, it kept leaking. We would replace the rotolock. Did this like 3 times until we finally realized that the muffler that was on it was clogged up, and I didn't think a muffler could get clogged up.
I thought it was just a shell too.
With it,
Yeah,
I
just
guess
a
if you
sound
got enough,
dampening.
I guess if there's
we
enough
took
crap
it
in there.
completely. We took it completely out, and the problem went away.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if did you cut it open? I'd love to see that.
No, I didn't cut it open.
I wonder if there's not like because I think it's just a shell, but I wonder if there's not like a metal or mesh screen or something that caught everything, and you probably had
I've
a bunch
always
of
thought
junk
it
in
was
there.
just a hollow drum.
Yeah,
Something
me
like
too.
a honeycomb type of setup, Steve.
Yeah, something like that. Not really. I mean, it's not like a filter dryer, but it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna catch, especially big stuff.
Right.
Mike's like, it's way too calm in here. We need someone loud in the chat. We need a Jake on the stream.
I start screaming if I need to.
I mean, if
Hey, man,
Mike wants
Go ahead.
me to, I'll go and get the bright yellow banana hammock on for him. I mean, I like Mike.
All right, I'm out.
Banana
I don't know if
hammock.
anybody else would want to see it.
No, we're good.
I'm not sure I want to ask.
No. Yeah, Jake is missed, but he couldn't make it tonight. He said he was gonna try and pop in, but he didn't make it. What was I looking for?
I think you made an improvement.
I'll let him know.
Don't tell him that.
Nasty said you probably need to have 2 or 3 changes in direction on the discharge line to keep it from cracking. Probably. I don't know. I'm not super technical.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely affect the velocity of it.
Yeah, and then they were talking about weights. Jason's used the weights on the trains before.
Jason gave me a heads up.
Good.
About?
Jason gave me a heads up this last summer about train compressors. I had changed out a train and had, I mean, a hell of a time trying to get the 15% to hold, on with the discharge and suction line. And I was telling Jason about it. He said, get the orange rod, the 55% or 56%, whatever it is. And I'm glad he told me that, because it was like a month later, I had to change out another train compressor and I had the orange rod with me. I mean, that's it. I need to, I've got his address where I sent him stickers. He's on my Christmas card list now for that heads up.
Well, what kind of compressor needs 55%?
Well, the way, and I'm just going by what Jason said. Some of them and Steve would probably know better than I would. Go ahead, Steve. Yeah, I'm sure I'll make a fool out of myself.
I don't know 100% about that. I mean, it's just the silver percentage is what you're looking at. So like you got Stay Bright 8, you can use that on some high pressure stuff. That's a different mixture of silver. And like so the old train compressors had steel fittings that came off the side of them that was an oil line. And when you would replace those, you would use a blue rod, which is just a flux coated. And I'm not sure the silver content of that, but I think it's all about the silver
47.
content.
Yeah, I know with the orange rod, at least for me, because the orange rod, of course, the orange is your flux. And if I get into
Same way with the
situations where, if I get into blue's for different metals, isn't it? In that,
I think so.
I've used blue for brass to copper.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
if I get in a situation where I think the orange, or where I think it's like I've cleaned the joint, but I can't get it super clean for some reason, I use the orange rod because of the flux. It just penetrates into the joint better, and it flows a little bit better too.
Yeah, the flux cells. I mean, I've used flux with just your regular 15% too. I've got some paste flux that I've used with that in the past.
you gotta know all these different metals that we're dealing with and stuff. Because like when
Well,
I
the biggest
started, I
thing is
didn't know.
follow the directions. RTFM.
Yeah, when I started, I didn't know about this, and I've seen some now when I go back, and I'm like, oh, they used the wrong rod, right? Because they made a mess of it. They're trying to use like the same rod for all their joints, and then the brass and all the different ones, and they're wondering why it doesn't, seal and everything. It's because they were using the wrong rod.
And that's the
And I
big thing
got,
too, is when you're looking at a joint, you gotta like look at it close, because if it doesn't look like brazen rod, it may be brazen rod. And if you're trying to put a 15% rod on top of
Yeah,
whatever they used, it may not take.
yeah, that's one thing I had to start noticing too. When I like I said, it took me a while, but I was like, oh shit, like I got to pay attention to what they used or what it looks like, because then you try and go on top of it or whatever it is, and you're gonna get screwed too. Um, steel, steel to copper was what got me at the beginning, but I had a guy that worked with us that was like, the guy that kind of helped me out in the refrigeration stuff, because we dealt with a lot of like the steel service valves and all that, and he helped me get better at that because like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I made a mess of my joints.
Our resident old guy retired, but he was the guy I always called when I had something weird come up. I'd always call him and be like, "Hey, what would you use for this?" Now he's gone, and I don't know. Like I'm like,
Well, now you're
Googling.
the guy. Now you're the guy.
I got Google.
I tell you, I've been using that twin tip for my torches. The twin tip, devil
Yeah,
horns, whatever you want to call it. I'm really digging that tip. Now it's not for
I
every
like it too.
situation, but like been changing out a lot of evaporator coils on these multi-door reach-ins, and they're tight anyways, and 3/8 or the 5/8 line, depending on if it's a freezer or cooler, and that twin tip, you're real tight. I mean, you might have that much distance between the floor and the bottom of the line. And man, I can just get in there and just work it back and forth,
Yeah,
and you get that rod just to flow. Man,
I
it
think
looks good.
I think I saw Rick use it, and that's why I started using one. And it
That's what I
took
was
me a
getting
while
ready to say.
yeah, it took me a while to
That
figure it out because it works a little different than what you'd expect, or like you can use it in different ways. And I started using it too. I actually have I think I recorded a video of a evap changeout that we did, and I used it, and I like it. I like it a lot. The other one that was recommended to me was like the Captain Hook one, which I need to look for and add that to my little setup.
I have the cap and hook
yeah,
also,
they work
and
great.
they do. The only thing, it's the five flame, and it's learning where to use it at. It
Yeah,
doesn't work good in the cases at all, but I
yeah, I
can
can imagine
see,
it's probably for bigger sizes or something.
yeah, I can see, I know exactly where I'm going to use it at, is when I'm doing a compressor change out on an
Yeah,
RTU, because you've got,
that's what I was thinking too on the compressors and stuff.
yeah, because you've got the room to move around, and the way those flames are it doesn't come straight down. They're kind of at an angle, so you have an offshoot of flame in front of it about 5 or 6 inches, and so I can see where you can position that and yeah, make a really nice brace joint on those compressors.
And I've been doing it with a number two this whole time. Like I barely started getting into like the different sizes. I got a rosebud, a twin tip, and now I want to get the Captain Hook. And I was like, man, because like you said, the compressor changeouts, you're moving the flame all around it, trying to make sure you get it either you like I unsweat the compressor, so either unsweating it or putting the new one in. Like that's a lot of moving around it, with that flame that you got to do.
Yeah, and it'll be nice too, because you're shooting a flame away from the compressor itself. So, I mean, at least for me, I care about how my stuff looks when I'm done. And so,
Oh yeah,
and so, you don't have to, I can see once I get used to it, I'm not going to have to use like my heat shield or wet rag or something up against the compressor. I think once I get good enough with that, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
I can just keep the flame away from the compressor, do the joint, and you won't even be able to tell that anybody was there.
That reminds me of one that I had today, but I'll save it for next week. I can, like, when I look at other people's work and I'm like, oh, like, you know, the boogers of the solder and like all the burnt stuff that they left around, like it kind of gets to me sometimes, but you know, you work with what you got. So we're at an hour. I don't want to keep everybody here too long. Any closing statements, fellas? No, you're good.
Nope. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
man.
thanks.
I appreciate you all for filling in for Jake this week. He will be missed. I know Mike wanted somebody yelling on the stream, but we're good. We'll have him back soon. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming out.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate it. And you know, it's bad it took two of us to take the place of Jake.
Two
So.
of them fill in Jake's spot. Thanks, Adrian, Curtis.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Y'all take care.
All right.
Later.
I'm gonna hit the outro, and I'll see you all later.
All right.